What's going on, everyone? Linkage64 here, back with another video. So, just recently I finished the game Super Mario 64. I know, I'm kinda late to that boat, but hey, I'm young. I wasn't around whenever the game first came out. And I enjoyed it, in spite of the kind of outdated camera controls and a little bit of the movement controls. I really enjoyed the level design and just the sandbox style of it. And after playing that game and then going into E3 watching all the Super Mario Odyssey demos, I realized something. Those two games are incredibly similar. So similar that I think that if Nintendo just put the moniker of Super Mario 64 2 on it, I think it would be a fitting name. So here are 5 reasons why I think just that Super Mario Odyssey is actually Super Mario 64 2. Now, before I go into the list, I also want to say that 2 of these first reasons are reasons why the 2 games are very similar, and the last 3 reasons are reasons how Super Mario Odyssey isn't a complete carbon copy of Mario 64, and what enhances the experience to make it a sequel. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So the first reason that Mario Odyssey is Mario 64's sequel is that, well, it's kind of obvious. It's a sandbox game. It's not linear, and it's not open world, per se. There is a difference between the 3, being that a linear style is getting from point A to point B, such as in the style of the original Super Mario Brothers, or games like Mario Galaxy or Mario 3D World. And an open world game is like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's never been a open world Mario game. Sandbox is right in between, right in the middle. There is a sort of level-based mechanic to it where you're going from level to level and the entire world isn't open and interconnected. But it's also not getting from point A to point B, and it's basically a big playground that you're able to explore, and you have to find the objectives yourself. Now, despite Mario 64's, like I said, kind of wonky camera controls, its level design and its sandbox style was absolutely amazing, and Mario Odyssey seems to be continuing that sandbox style in an incredible way. And that's one of the reasons that I'm looking forward to Mario Odyssey so much. Reason number 2, well, this kind of ties into the first one, is that there are multiple objectives within each level. So in Mario 64, of course, you had to go through these different objectives or clear these certain tasks in order to get the stars in that game. And to be specific, there were 6 stars in each level. But regardless, you had to explore around in order to find every single one of those stars. And it wasn't plain and obvious from the get-go. It gave you a little clue, which was always very helpful. But for the most part, you had to do all the figuring out yourself. And this is the same way in Mario Odyssey, except with a lot more objectives. So the moons that you have to get in this game basically replace Mario 64's stars, or Mario Sunshine's shines. And there are a lot of them, jam-packed into each level. And it really goes to show how far we've come from Mario 64's day, in that we have the graphical capabilities in order to make these massive sandbox style worlds that you can really tuck all sorts of hidden objectives into. And, well, with Mario Odyssey, again, you do have to go around and look for each one, and that's why it's in a very similar vein to Mario 64. Now, the next 3 reasons, like I said, are reasons that Mario Odyssey are ways that Mario Odyssey expands on the concept of Mario 64 and makes it a better game. So reason number 3 is that there is a currency system. Not only is this something that wasn't in Mario 64, but it hasn't been in any Mario game up to this point, at any point. And what's better, there are actually 2 kinds of currency systems. You have your standard gold coins that you found in every single Mario game up to this point, and these can be used to buy anything in any world. But then there's also another currency system, purple coins. Purple coins are found specific to each level. So if you have the purple, for example, New Donk City has round purple coins, and Testarossa Town has upside down triangle coins. And if you find the upside down triangle purple coins of Testarossa, you can only spend them in the items that can only be bought with purple coins in Testarossa. And the same goes for New Donk City and for the Wooded Kingdom and every single kingdom there is. And simply put, the balance between these two currencies is awesome. I love how there are world-specific currencies that you can only use to buy world-specific items in each area. But if you just got to that world recently and you want to spend your gold coins, well, you can totally do that too. Reason number 4 is that there's a defining mechanic in this game. Now, let me explain a little bit further. So in Mario 64, if you really think about it, there isn't a major feature, if you know what I mean. Like, I guess you could say that the major feature of the game is that it's the very first 3D Mario game, and that is indeed impressive. However, you don't really have something like Mario Sunshine, where the defining feature is the flood pack, or like Mario Galaxy, where the defining feature is the way you warp the gravity of the entire situation and take it into your advantage. Mario 64 doesn't have this kind of feature, if you really think about it. I mean, the wing cap, maybe, but for the most part, it's just your average Mario game, and to be fair, there's not too much wrong with that. But in the same sense, there's nothing that really separates the game from, like, say, Super Mario Brothers, other than that it's just a 3D version of Super Mario Brothers. Mario Odyssey fixes this desire for a defining mechanic in Cappy. Cappy is, of course, your hat that you use in the game, that you can throw out in front of you, around you in a circle. You can use him as a platform, you can use him to take out enemies, and most importantly, you can use him to capture enemies. Not only does this completely replace the power-up system by letting you capture your enemies and use them as power-ups, this gives it a super awesome defining mechanic that Mario Odyssey will always be remembered for. And reason number 5, finally, is that there's a good mix between the linear and the sandbox. So if you watch the Nintendo Treehouse from E3 this year, you will have noticed that it's not a completely sandbox-style game. There will be parts that you run into where it takes you off into a nice, you find a rocket and it will take you off into a nice subsection of the city that you couldn't get to otherwise. And in order to get to through this section, you have to get from point A to point B like a traditional Super Mario Bros. Style game. And there are multiple parts like this throughout the entire city, throughout the entire Wooded Kingdom, throughout the entirety of Tostarena Town. Wait, is it Tostarossa or Tostarena? My bad. But anyway, this balance is something that really hasn't been seen before in a Mario game. Or not as much, I think, as the way that we're seeing it in Mario Odyssey. Sure, in Mario 64, you did have those moments where you were just trying to get to the star at the very, very top. But really, you were still exploring in the meantime. And while yes, you are still exploring in the meantime in this, these linear levels are on a completely separate vein. So there's something for everyone, in other words. If you want to take a break from stressing your head out trying to look for everything yourself, you could just hop into one of these linear style levels and work on your reflexes and timing like a traditional Mario Brothers style game. And that's something that I think is incredibly awesome. Well guys, what do you think? Should Mario Odyssey technically be dubbed as Mario 64's sequel, or do you think it's new enough of a game to be something completely different? Let me know down in the comments below, and I respond to all my comments, so I really like engaging with you guys, and it's a lot of fun. Before I go, I need to say a few things more about that's related to the channel. Over this next week, I will be out of town, so don't expect any content from me until about mid-July or so. This does not mean I am quitting. By any means, I am not. I won't be able to make videos in the meantime. In addition, How do you like the new way I'm filming? It's as you can, if you've been watching my videos before, as you can tell, it's a little bit different. I have my desk over here. I got a new monitor recently. I have my amiibo over there. Those, I don't usually keep those there, but it looks really nice for the video and stuff. And then of course I have my TV, my entertainment center over here. So let me know what you think of my new shooting style in the comments as well. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching all the way to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, I talk about everything. Mario Odyssey, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 3DS, all that amazing stuff. And if you want to, you can subscribe to my channel up here and check out my latest video up here. While you're here, guys, if you like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, commenting, if you have any friends who you think would be interested in my content, you don't even know how much I'd appreciate it if you shared it with them. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one.